Okay, there's the river that I crossed earlier, and it's still raining, but it hasn't been pouring in hours. You can see the evidence. This is how high the water level actually got, because you see how the ground is all disturbed. This means where I'm standing had a few inches of water under it. But I'm out here once again because I'm going back now that there's not a lot of water, and I'm going to clear the grates. And I just stepped in the water and I got a tear in my boot. I felt the water instantly. Oh well. I've been wearing these boots for years. I gotta get a new pair. See the woods on the other side, it's still a bit flooded. This is kind of high for this river. I've seen it higher, but I gotta cross back over there. I know right here, it looks really deep and murky, but it's really not. It's gonna be under my waist. Yeah, that's as deep as it's gonna get. It's just above my knees. That's some good current. You see on this side, you see how the skunk cabbage, or whatever you want to call that, it's all pushed over because this was underwater earlier. Matter of fact, I think this is the exact same place I walked earlier. Okay, you see here how the ground is all disturbed. That means this was flooding quite a bit today. So much garbage down here that washes down from the street. But this must have been raging. There's that pipe again. It's a little bit of trickle coming out of it. I'm assuming it's still going to be unclogged. But the good thing is, you see how the leaves are all on the hill? If that was disturbed, that means the road got really deep and it overflowed. No flood. There's not much debris, but that's why I brought my gloves right here. I'm gonna get that out of there so it doesn't clog back up again. What is that thing in the middle of the road? I saw that earlier. Looks like a dirty pair of underwear. Okay, we're all set here. Other side, all set. That was a winter hat. Right here is evidence of another clog. You see how there's sediment all over the street? Right there. That's because the street was underwater earlier. With that dirt you're seeing all washed out from the edge, because this got clogged up and the waves created by cars took it all into the street. I'm just simply going to remove what's on the grate. It looks like we got a little more across the street, and there's a guy's driveway here. It must have just flooded that. I just cleared that storm drain that I showed. Now I'm on the other side. I cleared this one too. These just were not put in the right way, because you see there's supposed to be a big opening for larger debris to fall through. I dug down a little bit in there. It doesn't go through to the storm drain. It's just a hole that's blocked. That's why it's filled with dirt. It does not go into there. There's like a cement wall blocking it. But there was a ton of earthworms in there. This would have been a great thing if someone wanted to go fishing with them. There's a little bit of water still sitting here at this. And yeah, you see all that? The water here at one point was so deep that it must have gone through here and into the woods. That is a whole lot of debris. I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up. The good thing about this drain is that that stuff is not gonna fall back in there during the next storm, like when cars splash, because you see we have a hill going down here. I wanna see where the end of this actually goes. Looks like quite a ways. If you're noticing the screen a little blurry, that's because I'm using a waterproof camera case, which is pretty much a plastic box. It's right over here. Wow. I can tell you that water's not coming from where I just was. I think this is draining a neighborhood. Yeah, that's a lot. I think it's about time I could stop using this waterproof case. The radar's not showing much more for rain. That would be an awesome place to take a shower on a nice hot day, but the only issue is there's got to be contaminants in that if it's coming off the road. You see the steam coming from my breath. Someone commented in one of my older videos that it must be a really cold day. Actually, today was 90 degrees. So you can get that, you can see your breath pretty much in any weather, especially if it's humid. It's starting to get dark. I'm going to try to get some more drains done. Actually, nighttime is a better time for me to be clearing drains because there's no traffic on the road. I have my bright safety vest. I didn't notice this on the way down, but I'm noticing it now on the way up. You see how the ground is all disturbed and the leaves are left in clumps? When that drain up by the street overflowed, it came going down this hill. You know, every single year, towns spend millions of dollars putting these nice granite curbs in, and because they're not taking care of the street, all this debris you're seeing built up against the curb goes and it collects along their drains. Like you see here, there's a pretty big drop down there. Why even have the curb? If the curb wasn't here, the water would go off the road with all this stuff. And you see all the debris here in the road? That's because there was a flood here. Like you see this? There's a drain right there all built up. That drain hadn't been cleared in years, and I know that because when I was removing the dirt on top of it, there was poison ivy roots inside of it. And that takes years to grow. Look at all the mosquitoes coming up from it. You see this storm drain here, how that stuff is placed on there? If that was done by water, it would be evenly placed across the entire grate. What I think happened here is there was a flood here that somebody else drained. They moved it away just enough to get rid of the water, but they left the debris behind. The same thing across the street. You see how it's only across half of it? The water did not do that. That's not natural. I'm going to clear this, but today what I'm doing, I'm going out and I'm getting rid of the debris from grates where I can see sediment all over the street, because that means a flood definitely occurs there. There's just so many grates out, I simply can't do them all, so I'm kind of prioritizing the ones I know flood. Also, probably later this week, I'm going to post a video of some culverts I did some work on. One of the culverts it was 100% blocked. I probably opened it like 50%. The reason I only got a 50% is because it was underneath some train tracks and the area was designed improperly. So every time I try digging it out, a big landslide of rocks just fills it in again. So at least I got it open a little. Another one I did was 2 culverts right next to each other, square box culverts. One of them was completely open, the other was maybe 25% covered with river rocks that built up over the years. I was going to remove that. The reason I did not remove that one is because I noticed that the wall between the tunnels was all deteriorated and the river rock was actually keeping the water away from that part, preventing it from getting worse. But I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and post that video anyways, even though I consider it a fail. Hey, look at that. I got myself a 4-inch mini culvert under the sidewalk. You see how the debris is all over the sidewalk? That's because it's clogged up and it overflowed. It's not much of a clog, but you see it's covering the end up. That is clogged up. A, no one's cleaning the ditch, and B, I think that culvert is way too small. It's undersized. Another blocked drain here. Okay. Across the street. Okay. Okay, you see what happens here? People go to the supermarket and they steal shopping carts from the parking lot. They bring them home, fill them with garbage, and they roll them out here and dump them into the woods. Like, what's the point of dumping it into the woods? If you just left it on the side of the road, people would take it away. Like I understand why sometimes people dump, but they don't have to throw it in the woods. Why not just leave it on the side of the road for the city to take? People dump because it costs like $100 for a dump pass. Then for every bulk item, you got to pay more money, and that's ridiculous. This is all small stuff. Like, why is this even here? Everything here except maybe that could fit in the garbage cans. This town has 95-gallon garbage cans. They're pretty big. You could get rid of all of this in 1 week, if not 2 weeks. Every time I see junk like this, I always drag it out of the woods, because if I leave it down there, it's going to stay there forever. If I put it up here by the street, the city usually takes it away within a day or so. So what that is a broken kitchen table, 2 shopping carts here that somebody stole from ShopRite, and a full container of bleach, and a Ziploc bag full of nip bottles. So somebody should be taking that away soon. And no, I am not blocking the entire sidewalk. There's room to get around this. Anything that can get around that can get around this. You see, there's a telephone pole right in the center. Obviously, you can see not many people walk here, and the people that do kind of have to walk in the street because they're not trimming the sidewalks. Okay, there's one more, across the street. And this one's actually backing up a few inches of water. Okay, what you're seeing here, all this debris is from when the road was flooded probably a few hours ago. Every time a wave would go by, cars would splash this up on the side. And it was a pretty big flood because it goes on quite a while, but not a very deep one, because you see how the terrain drops down there to a river and everything. It can't get deeper than the curb, so that's really not a big problem if you go through it slowly. We might have something else up here. You see there's a big puddle across the street, and yet again, it looks like there's another shopping cart full of trash. Okay, there's definitely a storm drain here. Yeah, it looks clogged up. A lot of oil. Goodness. I'll pick up the debris once it drains. Look at a can of cat food. Smushed can of cat food. Should have brought the bug spray. The mosquitoes are getting to me. If I get the back part up, that'll drain it faster. I usually do this with both hands. By pushing it down there, I am not clogging the drain. Anything that can fit through these tiny holes on top can fit through the big pipe down there. Okay, I have another drain across the street I gotta do. What is that thing? Part of a vape? Oh no, look what I stirred up. Better do this fast. Those are red ants. Those are the ones that really sting. You know, I made them angry. They're probably very angry because their nest had to have been underwater today. Oh, look at that. I just ripped apart their whole nest. Better leave that alone. That's the drain where the red ants are. This is where the water drained. You can see how the ground is all disturbed. Water was rushing down here during the flood. Look at that, my breath is still making steam even though it's 90 degrees. When I was working at one of the culverts under the train tracks, one of the railway workers was driving by and he gave me this vest out of his truck. He told me that he's able to get these things for free from his work, so he just threw me this one.